Let's talk about all things Manchester United, because with the idea that new owners are going to come in, things could get much better for Manchester United, and I think this is what they've been looking for a really long time, Gabs.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever Manchester United are going through a bad spell, you know, you hear it more, don't you, about the owners and the protest. When they start doing better, you see less of it on social media, less of we want the owners out. But it's a lot of the fan base have spoken about it. Gary Neville's been big on it as well, that he wants these owners out. And if the new owner can, you know, pump some money into the club as well, like the stadium needs a lot of work done on it. They need a Haaland. They need a Harry Kane, might cost 70-80 million. They need money in that squad to really compete against Manchester City and Arsenal for the next few seasons. So I think
when you think about it, guys, Gab, what a season we're having in terms of just news, differences, things for us to talk about, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's Newcastle, whether it's Chelsea and Liverpool 9th and 10th, whether it's Brighton and Brentford and, you know, Fulham. It's just been it's a magic season. And there's part of me, what summed up for me the last couple of days was last week when the two Newcastle fans hit home with me, Gab. They phoned up and we're talking about can you win a trophy, can you finish in the top four, and both of them were like, do you know something, I don't mean we don't really care, of course they care, but they just get their club back.
Yes.
And they're loving going to watch the football again.
It's also quite funny, the timing of it, because Manchester United are looking good at the moment. So if they can win tonight, they're playing Crystal Palace at Crystal Palace. It's 8 o'clock kickoff live on talkSPORT. It's an exclusive as well, by the way. If they win that game, they go second for a little while until Manchester City play tomorrow. A little bit about Jim. So if you don't know who Jim Ratcliffe is, he is the chairman and chief executive officer, CEO of the Ineos Chemicals Group. He founded it in 1998. So his company is estimated to have a turnover of $65 billion. That was in 2021. Those are those dates. $65 billion. It's a lot of money, isn't it? So he's the richest person in the UK. So he has a fair bit. We were discussing earlier on as well, because he went in for Chelsea, didn't get Chelsea, of course, and Matt was saying it was a bit of a late bid. This one is a much, much more expensive bid. He is actually a Manchester United fan though as well. So do you think fans care who buys their club as long as they're putting money in it?
I think you look at Newcastle, and I don't think their fans care at the moment. You know, they're going to be going on to bigger things, different transfer windows coming up. But I think this guy being Jim Ratcliffe, being a Man United fan, helps. I feel that he's going to want the best for the club.
He had a season ticket as well.
Yeah, he's going to want to fix the stadium. He's going to want to pump money into the club, and like you both said, they're not far off Manchester United. And if you're Manchester City, you're like Liverpool. You're like, we've had it our way for a while. Just us two fighting for the title. Now we've got Manchester United going to get a new owner. Newcastle have already got one. Chelsea have got one. Arsenal are flying. You know, the Premier League's really taking off now.
Do you know what I think, Laura? In answering the question you asked Gabby, I probably don't think, and I agree with Gabby, generally speaking, the majority of fans don't care as long as their club's getting looked after, money getting put in, and they're doing well. However, if you gave them a choice, they would far rather have a homegrown owner.
Let's ask a Manchester United fan. Michael has called us. Hi, Michael.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Morning, Laura, Gabby, fit like Ally. How we doing?
Brilliant, pal. Yourself, you keep well. You're not a Man United fan with that accent, are you?
Well, Man U and Aberdeen. I was at the game on Sunday when your lot unfortunately got the better of us.
I tell you what, it was a good game though, wasn't it, Michael?
It was good to see Dandy Dons actually giving it a go, which they haven't done for a lot of the games this season. But I digress anyway. Certainly this is a topic of conversation that's been on the lips of United fans for the good past few months since it sort of came out. And I think looking at it from our perspective is that having somebody owning the club who is a Man United fan, I think is a massive part because of all the hurt that's been caused by having the Glazers in charge. Now, there's a couple of things on it which, you know, when the Glazers came out and started speaking about it, it was as strategic alternatives is what they were quoted saying it was. Now, they're looking for, hopefully, somebody to buy out the club, which would be Jim Ratcliffe. But there is a fear that because Abu Dhabi, Saudi and Dubai can't buy the club fully, that there could potentially be a minority stake put in by one of them with the Glazers still being in charge. Now, that is a fear which I have. On the flip side of that, I think that everybody will be happy, as you said, Ali, to have someone in charge who basically looks after the club, has the best interest at heart, and will basically do what's best for United fans and the team. And also another point with that as well is that you've got Erik ten Hag, who is somebody who's probably the best person that could be in charge of the team itself. I think the issues which Jim Ratcliffe has had with Nice is that he's not had somebody helping him really in terms of the strategy that they're using, buying players. The idea was that they would be going in and they'd be buying good young players and trying to sell them on for more. And it looks as if they've been spending a bit too much. But with Ten Hag in charge underneath, I think he'll have a lot of support on that side of things, which should hopefully help. And,
fingers crossed. Michael, on those signings as well that you were talking about for Nice, they're currently 10th. They brought in players like Kasper Schmeichel, Aaron Ramsey, Nicolas Pepe as well, Ross Barkley. So if that idea that they wanted to bring in like young players that are going to grow, it's probably a bit the opposite, isn't it, when you're looking at players like that? Interesting. We'll see how this one develops.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.